So, since I'm so stubborn, I'm gonna go ahead and so I put out. Well, I was trying to put out a video of just my overall thoughts on the Pornhub community. I was able to get it out on like YouTube. I wasn't able to get it out on the platform I was actually aiming at. I actually just last minute decided to upload it to YouTube. Even in the video, I would last minute just kind of like, all right, let me go ahead and just my last thoughts were just I guess I'll put it on YouTube, and I was able to get on YouTube, but I wasn't able to put it on Pornhub, and I even made like a little bit of a rant about it. I was able to put out something in audio, but the frame rate, I'm not. I'm assuming that's why it wasn't able to be active is because the frame rate. I don't even know why. I mean, I put out other videos where there was no real. I mean, it was just me basically doing an audio anyway. But whatever. I don't know. When it comes to technology, this is why I was talking about me just having this. It's not even distrust. It's just I trust that technology is going to have eras that aren't going to necessarily be fixed. One, because we have there's only so much you can do when you have so many people putting out content. So, but I wasn't even particularly proud. I'm not proud of the of that video anyway. With the frame rate. But what I said, I really cared about. I really care about what I said, not exactly what the video. So I'm gonna attempt to put out this, which is this is just an introduction. Because I literally had to go in there and basically fix my computer, and so the frame rate can be mended somehow, and I think I was able to do that. So this is just the official um, my appreciation for the Pornhub community and my overall thoughts about it, and this is just an introduction to that. So here we go. John Turbo of Black Closet Media, and thank you. So I want to talk about the this platform. Um, this is one of those topics that kind of plays. It kind of played in the back of my head as I continue to interact with this platform. Um, and just like by virtue of gathering all this information and the avenues and all the little trinkets that kind of come with I guess creating content or just interacting in general with the website. And I had it in the back of my mind, like at some point I should probably, as just like objectively, like you should probably talk about the platform in a general sense, like not necessarily as a company, but just like my experience on the website. And with any experience, I think there is kind of a, well, we'll use the word avenue to sort of learning about um, the site, because you got this platform, and you put videos on there and in hopes of, well, I mean, depending on your I guess if you even have a goal or any ambition, or it's just kind of inclination. And I think that's necessary to say, because wow, in figuring out, I'm not even going to say figure out, but just like interacting with it in a general sense, it's so immense, the amount of content creators and just the angles that those content creators go with, and at least what I can gather from just seeing it, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. There's so many people on this platform. It's actually kind of incredible. Because when making these videos, I think. Well, let me just say. Let me say this. Let me go ahead and, because Black Closet Media, and I've said this. But let me go ahead and specify. It just started off as like PowerPoints. Like I like magazines. Like, maybe I like the idea of a magazine. The idea of putting something together. Like, and with with especially like with sex related stuff like pornography or just erotica in general. So if I was gonna put together something, I think it would be something like pornography, something sex related. And I came across some really cool pictures from. This is how I became a fan of Color Climax, is because I came across some really like some I guess mint quality photos. Like they're remastered, because they have you have the whole Color Climax website that they I guess still have, but they made these like remastered photos I really dig, and I wanted to put together some kind of magazine, and I came across them because I like the way that they look. Um, they took the film photography they were using whatever filming technology you're using to create these originally create the magazine, just taking photos and stuff, and then with whatever they were using to recreate them, in a like a remaster them in a digital way. It just gave it a really cool look. And so I wanted to just collect them, but like put it around like a magazine. And that's how I became a fan of Color Comics, just through discovering those really cool photos, and then eventually I just started learning more about the company. Um, and I started putting together like my own versions of that magazine, but under the like I had those, but I had like other kind of magazines around. I'm saying magazine, but they're just like PowerPoints. I just put together presentations because it was fun to do. It was like just photos of different kind of variants to. Oh, let me add articles, right? Like let me add advertisements, and eventually I was like, what if I can write my own article, right? I mean, this is kind of a fantasy world where I'm making my own sort of thing, and that's all Black Claws Media is. It just started off as a name for a fantasy magazine company I wanted to make, some kind of company I wanted to put together. And so that's what I did. I just put together these PowerPoints. And it was like this really gradual thing that I would just like doing them, and then eventually I started to add in articles, and with advertisements and articles, and really tighten up the aesthetics, and then adding aesthetics to it. Eventually, I was like, "Ooh, you know what? Maybe I can write my own article of some kind. Maybe I can." And I just went with a subject I really like. I wrote about wrestling, and I always thought that pro wrestling was very similar to pornography. So I just wrote an article for one of the magazines PowerPoint magazines I was putting together. And I was like, ooh, what if I can actually, like, um, I wonder if anyone would actually, like, not necessarily buy it, but would someone publish this piece of writing, right? And I remember, I mean, I have, well, not remember, I didn't really have a go. These were just fun to do. It became like, it was just fun to do. And so eventually I just got up the nerve to write this article. And I finally got someone to publish that article. And then I eventually wrote another article, and it got published to that publication, that online publication. And then eventually I started to think about, like, ooh, maybe I can do something else to this imagination. Maybe I can make some kind of videos, just building the world up. And eventually, um, I came across Pornhub. It was like very incidental. Um, and eventually, YouTube and that kind of stuff. But it just started off as just like just this droning process of just creating, just having fun, really. And so you got into his website, and without having any really ambition about getting views or anything like that, just like the articles. Because in my mind, this is the best magazine in the world. This is already the greatest magazine in my mind. In my mind, this is what it is. That's the fantasy, right? That I have this magazine, and apparently people love it. And I was like, you try to make the imagination more stronger, so you throw in a couple things. Um, and eventually, I guess it becomes. Well, I mean, if money is just if money and like a lot of things in our that make up a society um, is just agreed upon. There's a consensus. If money is just something like money is just a consensus, and if what is a magazine? What is any of these giant corporations? But just a lot of consensus around it about the money and that process, an agreement, this mass agreement. So in that case, if it's just a bunch of just immense imagination, what makes mine less or more or less? As long as I believe in it, then who's to say it's not real, right? Um, so it felt real to me, and what makes it even more realer, or at least to your own mind, if you could look for views or whatever. And so naturally you start seeing about what that process looks like. And upon doing things like that, I was just enthralled by the entire website. I mean, it's different than something like a YouTube. With YouTube, there's with YouTube, it's like there's clearly at least two different YouTubes. There's a YouTube that's on face value. It's something you see. It's the most popular items that's presented to you that stream and just bring up more popular items, either things that's recommended to you, but usually it's just like the most popular things. Is you have your own kind of world, but you also have whatever the YouTube gods are putting forth towards you. That's what it feels like. Because there's this other YouTube where it is just a bunch of people putting out content. And I think just in terms of the way that this platform's organized, I'm seeing all these. I think at some point I just start randomly watching these videos because there's just so many, and it sort of it led me to, because you go into these sort of things and you're kind of uncertain about it, and you're like, what am I going to be? What are you aiming for? Are you trying to stand out? Are you trying to get on the trend? What are you trying to do? How are you going to play this, right? Maybe not for views, but maybe for your own imaginations. And I say this because there are so many content creators on this platform. And there's this kind of community basis. There's this kind of like one of the things I really like about this website, I really like about the people specifically about this, how they go about their business, is they really stick together. I don't know of too many. I mean, maybe it's just my ignorance of just not being out there, but it's nice to see content creators really looking out for each other. And that's one of the things I found, from going to random videos, and putting out likes, putting out comments, and enjoying it. It's interesting when you think about just how much. I mean, it's. I mean, to be honest with you, it's a little. It's. I'm not gonna say bizarre. Well, comparably to, I guess, mainstream. It's interesting. Like, this is like a slice of existence that you'll find kind of, if you look closer, you'll start finding some pretty interesting people. And there seems to be like a whole world cut out here. And so many people that are just willing to express themselves. And, it's a lot of, respect to the people, especially the people who are willing to show their face, because there are a lot of people who want to keep their anonymity, the people who want to be anonymous, and that's great. And that makes more sense. That makes a lot of sense. To express yourself in this way. First of all, it's nice to see so many people want to express themselves in this way. Because comparatively to what's supposed to be the mainstream, it kind of makes you wonder, like, it seems to be like two worlds. There's the world that you present to the public, and the world you have for yourself, and who you share with the people that are close to you. And even then, um, you show a piece of your side that you don't show to other people. And I think there's an like I'm trying to understand the overall attraction. Like I understand in being wanting to express yourself in this way, especially in this way. I mean, sex is very primary, something that if there's going to be anything that you're going to want to express, because it's crazy. Like I'm flabbergasted just because how many people on this platform. Um, I try to sum up, like because you'll be watching the video, and then when you stroll down, and there's all these videos of people, and the view counts are vary. You got very little views to high views, and I mean we can talk about the algorithm or whatever system they're using in that. I'm one of the things in general. One of the things that's interesting, whether I'm going through here or YouTube or any other platform, I notice that there's a lot of I don't know, bots or especially sex related material. There's a lot of I guess what were we gonna say, bot activities. I would suspect, or is it like people just don't make a lot of comments? I don't. Again, that's another thing. Like I don't specifically go out of my way to make comments on any other platform, but I do here, because I recognize that this is a community and that really support each other. I think that's a huge thing that I very much, whether or not I necessarily notice it on YouTube or not, I don't think I really go through the comment section on YouTube. But something that I can speak for this platform, I really, really dig the community here. I like how much everyone is really supporting each other. Um, Not necessarily just not just the content creators, but the content creators specifically, they really, really help each other out here. I really like seeing that. There's almost like little gangs I would start to catch up on. Like, you'll pick on recommendations, but then you'll start look eyeballing some of the stuff, um, kind of things that are kind of around your video bubbles or boxes, and you just kind of click on these boxes almost randomly because there's just so many people. Like, it's nice to run across people that you've seen, and so you can kind of further take in more of their content, especially some of the ones you might favor. But you get enough of these videos, and you start wondering, like, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I know, I'm for certain that a lot of you aren't making that much money, if any money at all, using this platform. Just by the circumstances of it being so immense. I mean, that's one of the things that's so fascinating. I hate talking about money, but money is information, and so I will use that here because I know, and the reason why, especially since I'm aware that the conclusion must be that a lot of you guys out here are hobbyists. People who are doing this are, um, and being that you guys are just everyday folks who, um, are some, especially the ones who are willing to show their face. Because even some of the largest um, content creators, the ones who get the most views, have the highest ranking. The ranking system is also kind of weird. I'm not just like YouTube. It's hard to really, and by circumstance of being in it, not that that's important. Because if anyone, I mean, this content, the people here just seems to throw that right out of the water. Because clearly, I don't think ranking is important. I don't know. It's interesting. Um, like from the most like people who put a lot of production in it to people who are just flipping their phone up and just having fun. Especially the ones who are willing to show their face, and looking at some of those people's rankings and stuff. Like, truly, it is quite a sight to behold. And I wonder, like, is this kind of a risk for some of these people to do that? Is it just because there's so many people that the likelihood of someone that you know is less likely to find you? I mean, um, even for John Turbo, I think that there's a little risk for all of us. In a lot of ways, we're kind of the last. It feels like, as far as freedom fighters, we're kind of a huge. Well, not necessarily we. I mean, well, but I don't want to be disrespectful, because here's the thing. Like, as much as I can sit here and there's something, like, I don't want to cross like an identity sort of line here, because on the one hand, it's my appreciation and my fascination with people who actually come out here and sexual expression, especially so publicly, is still considered taboo, at least within mainstream circles. So it'd be one thing for me to do commentary and then, like, masturbate and all that stuff. Then I can say some stuff. It feels weird to, like, say that when I don't think I've proven that I'm willing to do that at all. And I think the more I interact with this website, I don't think I have to. I don't think I'd stand out or anything. There's so many reasons that to do it. One, there is a lot of liberation in it, but also it's like there's so many people who are doing it for me. Because it's not going to be. I don't think it would be highly produced. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not. I don't know. You come across so many dudes, and you come across so many, just anyone, really anybody. And I think it's so, like, I mean, I don't know. It's challenging as a thought. I think I was seriously thinking about how I was going to go about this. And then, as I continue to interact with it, one, I noticed that alone won't do anything. So it can't be for that reason. It would have to be because you truly want to. And I think you should do what makes you feel comfortable. But also, especially, like, I feel like I'm in a sea of actual rebels. I don't know. Like, it's like you're surrounded by real rebels, people who are willing to do this. And I'm out here, and I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm not really that much of a rebel, Like, I admire and I support, but I feel like pussy. I feel like bitch for not being willing. I don't know. But then I feel like not that anyone is a pussy or bitch. I just feel like, I don't know. So I like talking. I like doing what I do, and I own it. But I feel like, especially with a lot of adventures, I'm a very adventurous person. One of the things about being an adventurous person is there's a lot of sacrifice. Like, sacrifice a lot of instances feels like what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to sacrifice. You're not supposed to enjoy everything you do. Some of it has to be a little bit of risk, right? Like, what is a risk? And so there's a bit of how I identify myself on this platform or any platform. And by the way, let's kid here. There's a lot of people on this call. I mean, this is not just a platform that's just host to people who I guess film themselves, others, like sexually explicit media. There's all kinds of stuff. It's I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, there's people who just, like, have collections. People who just want to put out something. I've seen like people do presentations, and I've seen people do like mathematical equations, like real, like nothing to do with sex necessarily, on this platform. Um, so at risk of just saying unnecessary, because I feel like a lot of what I'm saying now is just like unnecessary. Like you don't have to sit here and explain why you haven't stroked it for the people or anything like that. You don't do that shit. Um, I almost felt less likely. Like, all right, if I'm being honest, like like I want to be honest, but I also like don't like you're afraid of what that honesty is saying, but you're probably not saying anything necessarily like, all right, like the more I interacted with it, the more I saw people doing this. It's like I didn't have to like they were presenting a lot of data for me to just get in my mind. One, it's nice because there's so many that do it that I feel like no, you already do your own thing. You don't need to do that. And I think it's because you're going to this stuff, and then you know as far as trying to get views of like that, I was like I don't know, maybe that's what people were looking out for. Maybe people were into that. So I'm coming into this stuff with all these different ideas, and as I'm breaking this down, I one, I'm happy that um, I feel comfortable being myself on this platform. Um, I'm happy to see that so many people seem to be enjoying themselves. Um, and that I don't have to overcomplicate this. Um, because being associated with this material at all, I think is always kind of a risk for people. Um, not to overemphasize it, like oh we're all no, not to compare myself to you guys. Anyway, you guys are the real truth. I'm just someone out here that just wants to talk, and it's not like I'm not open to it. I I don't know, more things to think about, I guess. Um, damn, I really want to just talk about the community because the community is really cool. I really like the community here. I love the content people are making on this platform. I like the effort that they put in it. Um, I'm a big sucker for sets. I'm a huge for sets. Like one of the things I really like is just I like clothing. I like sets. I love nails. I love the aesthetics. Because have watching people have sex is one thing, but like putting something behind it is always some. And it doesn't really have to be a lot, because it could be huge for me. I really appreciate that stuff. It really is cool when people put any sort of effort, whatever that is. I like that people can doll themselves up for this sort of thing. This one is nice. And for those who just want to just enjoy themselves, man, that's so awesome that you feel comfortable enough or put yourself in such a vulnerable place to do that. Even for those who are anonymous, it's kind of awkward. I'm not saying I don't have any experience in this. I'm just saying like um, not so, I guess not so publicly in this way. So it's always nice. And the measure of that popularity on this site is also kind of like I'm still trying to understand this site. I mean, one, I want to sit here and I want to appreciate um, all that's thus far, and just talk about the site in general. From my perspective, because I don't really want to get into the whole minutia. Did I say that right? The whole aspects of the company, just because those are details I'm just kind of ignorant on overall. But I can talk about my experience and try to attempt to extrapolate from those sort of experiences. Um, Try to, I don't know. I guess I don't know. Man, I really wish I was. Anyway, I was gonna, cause I mean, I can name names, but like, man, there's so many people on this platform. Like, this is they get lost in this one. But anyway, I really like the people here, and yeah. I hope everyone enjoyed their holidays. And trying to think of what else I can say about. There's a lot actually, but I don't know, maybe not. Keep supporting each other. I guess I don't know. You know what it is? I come into this platform, and this spot is post all that other stuff, um, all that other content that is now no longer on the platform. Because as you know, um, Pornhub was kind of, there's a template that's just like the Wild West. That's just no longer active. There's just so much stuff that are not on the platform. So it's interesting. Like because as I'm thinking, I'm trying to think like compared to, because I've said this before. This has become kind of a mostly kind of a hosting site for content creators. Because before, you go to this website, you just watch, just porn. Porn that was either hosted by the site itself, people just uploading pornographic material, erotica, or episodes of something. Like it was just so immense with just so many things. So it's just like the Wild West, and having all that script away, you're kind of left to a bit of it's just kind of now it's kind of a more of a hosting site, and so the aspect of people being able to stick to people, stringing themselves together, keeping themselves together as a community, and being putting out, because here's the thing, people who are willing to do this, and people who go out of their way to um, show their appreciation and validate each other. Um, when you have so many entities that seem to be against pornography and sex workers in general, or sex hobbyists, whatever those people are to the website, and um, if they hold that to their livelihood, or if this is just for fun, whatever that is, whatever that means, whatever that those I guess those definitions are, whatever that means. Um, it's really nice, and um, it's really cool actually, just straight really cool to see a community that's really just kind of helping each other out. And there are standouts. I mean, like there are people, and again, like that's what I mean. Like I find myself just kind of as you're going through the platform, you find these like almost like little gangs, like they kind of they kind of help each other out. They vote for each other, and I feel like is I really want to emphasize that I feel like an outsider, like anywhere else really, but like I feel like I'm always an outsider. So to get any sort of validation here is nice, um, from content creators. It feels good to put out something and someone appreciate, and again, to not even really have the expectation just because it's not something that you normally receive. So to get that, and to be able to do that for others is always great. One, to get that validation, but also, yeah, to really appreciate people, because you're watching these videos and you're seeing these people, and they're putting on the show, and you're sitting there enjoying it, and you write that your appreciation, and you give out your compliments, your likes, you go and vote, and that this community seems to grow on its own. It kind of is growing from its own. It's like the website, from what I understand, like, or from what I can gather, or at least what I can maybe extrapolate, is that it's a this is a platform that a different template before, you had a lot of this content being taken away. Um, it was a website that a lot that has its internal structure, but you also have like so much out. Uh, uh, you had so much, I guess, entropy, a lot of outside scopes coming in that kind of built it. So it became like this gigantic world. And at this point, it's like it's it's kind of, I guess, without having any like $5 words here. Um, Fuck that, I'm not gonna use that word. I was gonna say illuminates. Is that word? Just something that it's emanating from its end. It's really it's blooming from its end. It's like really, it's those seeds were set, and I'm glad that they're able to kind of maintain their own selves despite all the changes. Um, but it's so it's really amazing that they're able to kind of keep themselves well as best they could. I mean, as far as um, becoming more tighter as a community and finding each other, and seemingly becoming friends and kind of allies for each other, and really helping each other out. It's really nice to see. And I'm saying all this because I really want this to grow. I really want to. It would be a shame if things get worse. And because I already did that whole thing with avian stars, and so it'd be a real shame if I just hope that this thing continues to grow, and people are just more open. I really wish that more people would know how much of a great community this is. And um, matter of fact, I might even just put this not only on this platform, but maybe uh, YouTube as well. Just cause I don't know. Um, mm. Anyway, Leah, let me go ahead and end this. Um, John Turbo, Black Closet Media. Did I say it right? John Turbo of Black Closet Media. I got big teeth, so I got that. I always say I had that kind of 50 cent thing, so I got it really. Anyway, John Turbo of Black Closet Media, and thank you.